Good morning, friends. My name is Sachin. I am from Sachin's Academy, Sangrur. Well, day before yesterday, we were doing the novel Oliver Twist, the brief summary of this novel, Oliver Twist. And you must be remembering that we did the first part of that novel. Now, we will be dealing with part 2 of this novel, Oliver Twist, which was being written by Sir Charles Darwin. Okay, so let's move forward and start with this novel. Oliver only believed their jokes about teaching him how to make handkerchiefs and pocketbooks. So Oliver is having no idea of what he was going through. So he only believed their jokes about teaching him how to make handkerchiefs and pocketbooks. Fagin told him to try to lift a handkerchief. That Fagin, he told Oliver to try to lift a handkerchief from his pocket. And finally, Oliver began to learn how to unmark them. After a while, he was allowed to go with the other boys and to do the work that they all do. Okay, so finally, when they were on the spot, they spotted a man at a bookstall and they took a handkerchief out of his pocket. Moving forward, the man immediately realized that it was missing and he turned to see that Oliver was running away from him. Thinking that he was the thief, that gentleman chased him and finally caught him. Oliver swore to his innocence, but to his bad luck, he was not believed, and the police officer dragged him. That gentleman, Mr. Brownlow, who was robbed, asked the police officer not to hurt Oliver, and he also followed them to the police station. Okay, now Mr. Brownlow thought that Oliver's face looked familiar to him, but he couldn't place it. Moving forward, when the magistrate tried to question Oliver, he fainted. The bookstall owner came and told that the other boys who had done the crime, they committed it. So, the magistrate released Oliver, and Mr. Brownlow took Oliver to his house in a coach, where he remained unconscious for a couple of days. When Oliver began to get his strength back, he was thankful to both Mr. Brownlow and Mrs. Bedwin for taking care of him. He said that he felt as if his own mother had come to sit by him. So this is the wording that he said to Mrs. Bedwin, that he felt as if his own mother had come to sit by him. Very good. Moving forward, Mrs. Bedwin nursed him back to health. And once he was healthy, she carried him downstairs, where Oliver saw a portrait of a woman. And that particular portrait fascinated him, as the woman in the picture looked exactly like him. And finally, Oliver fainted again. Dodger and Charlie Bates became very upset when they saw that Oliver was no longer with them. Fagin was very angry and he yelled up at the boys and even beat them. Moving forward, just then Mr. Sikes walked in with his white dog. He was a rough, cruel man who made his living by robbing houses. They decided that someone must go to the police station and find out what had happened to Oliver. And finally, they persuaded Nancy to go there and to find out. She pretended to be his distraught sister at the police station and found that they had released him and that particular gentleman took him home. Moving forward, Fagin and Sikes decided that they had to find and kidnap Oliver soon so that he did not spill their secrets. When Oliver awoke from his fainting spell, he found that they had removed the painting of that woman which he saw downstairs. Mr. Brownlow bought him a suit, cap, shoes, and Oliver went to talk to him about his future. They talked about the books and how someday Oliver could read and write them if he wanted. Okay, moving forward. Oliver was afraid that he was going to be sent away, and so he begged Mr. Brownlow to remain him as his servant. Mr. Brownlow assured him that he wished to be his friend and asked to tell him his story. Just then, his friend, Mr. Grimwig, a grouchy old man, arrived and hinted that Oliver might be a boy of bad habits. Just then, a parcel of books is delivered by the bookstall keeper's boy, and Mr. Grimwig suggested to send Oliver for the payment. Very nice. Moving forward. He also hinted that Oliver might steal the payment and the books. Oliver took a wrong turn to the bookstall and he ran into Nancy, who made a loud ruckus and told everyone in the street that Oliver was her runaway brother, who had joined a band of thieves, and she was only taking him back home. He protested, but they all dragged him out of the street with them. Mr. Brownlow and Mr. Grimwig sat for a long time waiting for Oliver, but Oliver did not return. Moving forward. Nancy and Sikes dragged Oliver to another thief's hideout, where Fagin, Dodger, and Charlie Bates were astonished at the clothing of Oliver. They figured out that he had 5 pounds with him and some valuable books under his arms. But Oliver began to protest, saying that they should return the books to Mr. Brownlow, as he did not want him to think of him that he had stolen the books. Finally, Fagin began to beat Oliver, but then Nancy leapt to his defense. Moving forward. Mr. Bumble visited Mrs. Mann on his way to London to pay her stipend for the care of the orphans. He asked after little Dick, who had been sickly. Dick wanted them to write a note for Oliver, giving him his love, as he felt very bad that Oliver was completely alone. Mr. Bumble and Mrs. Mann were shocked, and after Mr. Bumble left for London, Mrs. Mann locked Dick again in the closet. Okay. In London, Mr. Bumble saw a flyer asking for some information, past or present, on Oliver Twist. He went to Mr. Brownlow and told him terrible things about Oliver and his childhood. So Mr. Brownlow was disappointed and hence decided Oliver is nothing but only an impostor, that he never wanted to hear his name again in the house. But Mrs. Bedwin refused to do so. During the day, Oliver had no company, but only Fagin teaching him the ways of thievery. Very good. So that's all for the second part of this novel called Oliver Twist. I hope you have gone through the first part thoroughly. Now subscribe the channel for more, like and share the video. So it's myself Sachin saying goodbye to you. After the third part will be coming soon. So it's goodbye from my side. Take care of yourself. Please, please, please stay safe. Stay at home. Goodbye.